and welcome to what is episode 4 of the WhoTubeShow. I find it difficult to say that somewhere, the WhoTubeShow. And I've got with me today Phil Newman. Hello, Phil. You all right? Phil is not only a fan, he's been involved with a very special magazine at certain times in your career. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Since the sort of mid to late 80s, occasionally I've been writing for Doctor Who magazine, on and off. I sort of started with a half-page report, thanks to John Freeman, who asked me to do it, on the Doctor Who movie that was being touted at the time, and then did quite a few exhibition reports on the Longley exhibition each year, every time it was updated. And then when I started to embark on a design career, I started to track down quite a lot of designers who'd worked on Doctor Who, the classic series, in the mid-90s, really. And some of those remain unpublished, untranscribed to this day, but some of them I put together for the production design special that came out. I think it was during lockdown, but certainly 2020, 2021. And also there was an interview with Spencer Chapman that I did that was published when he sadly passed away last year. Right.
Okay. That's bit of experience there then. So you're into you're writing, but you moved into a career of you learning to do design.
Yeah.
Over the last how many years? Over the last few years?
Well, it's getting on for 30 years.
30 years.
94 is when I went back to college to start a general art and design foundation course, and 2 years later is when 96 is when I came up to study at Croydon College, and I still live in Croydon now. And three-year course, and then turned freelance the following year.
Okay. Now, I remember, I've spoken to you before, and you mentioned about, I'm going to skip the question in the icebreakers. I'm going to bring it up now. Designs of TARDISes, because you're a design, you've got a design mind. The TARDIS itself, you mentioned the very first TARDIS and the design that went into it and what could have been. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I did some research into Peter Brahatsky for Richard Bignell's Nothing at the End of the Lane magazine. That's probably about 10 years ago now. Just because I think I felt he'd had quite a tough press over the years. There's quite a lot of people who've gone on about how lazy he was and wasn't interested and didn't like it and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of thought, if as a designer you just don't do that, really. Having been a designer myself, it's like you don't just not commit to something. It's your name on the credit. You do what you do with the resources at your disposal. And so I always kind of felt that it didn't quite sit well, the way that he was always kind of like dismissed, and that he put it up and ran kind of thing. And it's like, well, all of those elements that he designed are still there to this day. In fact, the new Phil Sims TARDIS, that's there now, is like closer to the original Peter Brahatsky set in so many ways than it has been in years. It's it's clean and it's white and it's a machine. It's got a large 6-sided console with there are so many elements that are still there. So don't tell me he was lazy and didn't care, because if it was a rush job, it would have been replaced.
And if there was the finances back then, or the money that's getting put into the show now was put into the show back then he could have and definitely would have done more.
Yeah, I mean, he did. There were elements that were that were not used, you know, and not constructed for presumably budgetary and other reasons. In some ways, I think when you look back and you've seen some of the, you know, drawings that were submitted and stuff at the time, you know, kind of over-designed it. But, you know, this set had to go in and out of Lime Grove on a weekly basis, up and down, taken apart, put up in a lift, in a ramshackle lift, in and out of studios. You know, it's little wonder it got bashed. You know, and now that we see all these black and white episodes nicely restored in the collection sets, you know, you can see where the roundels have been bashed in and all that kind of stuff. But nobody would have seen it back in the day on a 405 line tiny little TV set. But you know, it's all credit to him and his imagination. You know, he did something unique, and that's why it's survived, is because there wasn't any other design like it. It wasn't a regular spaceship set, you know. It was something different.
And you're right in saying that this one now is as close to the original as you'd expect. It's because we've had the coral era and things when there was quite. I mean, obviously the elements, the console and things like that. It's always been there and always will be, but it's the difference. The others felt that in recent times they felt like they were the TARDIS. It was kind of grown, so it's hard to explain that it was a living clown.
Oh yeah, I mean the fact that the TARDIS was more than just a machine was hinted at by early on, I think, in the narrative. I'm not sure that came into the design, but that's different designers having different takes. You know, they still maintained the same central console. Ed Thomas with Eccleston was the one that with the idea that the TARDIS was grown with the coral and everything else, but then it then becomes just a desktop, doesn't it? You know, under Moffat, it just becomes something that you can just swipe away. But we always knew that from Master Mandragora was, you know, we see that what was considered the old control room, which, although it looked gorgeous, I never liked the little mini console in the middle. I thought it was a bit undramatic, really. The fact that there wasn't anything that moved on it, but it looked beautiful, and it worked very well with that kind of gothic feel of season 14.
Yeah,
but yeah.
All right. Well, let's we've had a chat already, but let's do the icebreaker bit. So that which should have come first. Well, never mind.
That's all right. We can be timey-wimey about this. Yeah.
The ice has been broken. Instead, this is the part 2 of the show. Part 2, right? So I'm looking for your favourites here. So your favourite episode or story? Favourite episode or story?
I've always loved Master Mandragora.
Right.
Some people claim it's a bit of a snooze fest. I don't. I've always loved it. It was one of the first stories that I remember recording on audio, you know, with a microphone taped to the TV speaker. Technology back in the day, and so I listened to it more than others. Invisible Enemy was another one that I recorded, and I still love that too. But I've always loved Master Mandragora. Sea Levels is also a big favourite.
Okay. Favourite Doctor, classic and new.
Well, I grew up with 3 and 4. Pertwee was my first Doctor that I remember, but my favourite Doctor, probably classic Doctor, is Patrick Troughton. Having seen the stuff since, you know, as it's been released, found. Yeah. And I got to meet the man once, so that was lovely. That was a great thrill.
Wow.
Panopticon in Brighton in 1985.
Oh wow,
long time ago, but nearly 40 years ago. But yes, I know.
Well, no, 5 years ago it was, honest.
Yeah.
And a favourite new New Who?
Um, Probably Matt Smith, just
Yeah.
in terms of, I just loved what he did with it, especially in his first season. The kind of mad professor and the old man trapped in a young man's body, which they kind of done a little bit of with Davison, but never really explored. But I think they sort of got it completely right with Matt Smith. It's a shame they sort of kind of dressed him a bit more doctory, and as he went on, they kind of grew away from that a bit, which I always thought was a shame, because I loved, he was what, 27, 28, and yet he could feel like he was like hundreds of years old in a moment.
He was very good.
I just love that kind of portrayal, that Magnus Pike mad professor thing.
Right, very. He writes your favourite companion from the classic, and
probably Sarah Jane.
Yeah, what about in the new?
Sarah Jane. I mean, I love Jo Grant as well, because she would have been the first companion that I remember. But yeah, Sarah was just Sarah.
And have you got a favourite from the new seasons? Or?
Yeah, probably Donna. I think
Donna.
I think she and David obviously had she and Dr. Tennant, Stroke 14. The chemistry was so good.
Yes, it was,
and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Partners in Crime was a lot of fun to watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and
funny, hilarious.
Yeah.
Right, your favourite logo?
The diamond logo is a lovely bit of design, and I love what they've done. Giving it a tweak for now. I was quite surprised they were reusing it to a degree, but no, it's a great logo. It looks great however you use it. But I do like the Chibnall logo as well. On one line, I don't really like it when it's split across two on some of the book covers. But I think I like how it looks, especially on the collection sets. I think it's quite stylish and simple.
Right, your favourite spin-off?
Sarah Jane Adventures.
Okay, and your favourite villain, monster, alien?
Probably, most original Zygons, I think. The original Zygons, not the silly leathery fang things that we got for the 50th. Probably the original Zygons. I've also got a fondness for Sea Devils as well, the original Sea Devils.
Okay. Do you prefer the Master or Missy?
The Master, the original, Roger Delgado. Never bettered, never will be.
No, I find it hard to believe that it will be bettered. Your favourite guest star, and this is someone that's been here once, the Martin Clunes of this world.
Yeah, hard to think. I mean, in the new series, someone like Derek Jacobi probably, but Julian Glover was superb in City of Death.
Yeah, Derek Jacobi was. I don't know, that moment when he turned.
Yeah,
the acting was superb, and you talk about the Master, the original being the best. Well, of course, he had an expanded time as the Master.
Absolutely.
But if you just for sheer moments, that moment with Derek Jacobi has to be up there with one of the most incredible Master moments.
But it was all building up to something. That was the clever thing. I mean, it's well directed. The music adds the tension of the episode anyway. It's all, we all know it's leading somewhere. It's just, and then they bring in the fog watch from the story before, which I don't think anyone was no one was expecting that it was going to have been pre-planted, that whole thing about the chameleon arch. I think that's what made it chilling, is when the watch suddenly comes out and then you think,
I know.
It's a brilliant episode. It's one of my favorite episodes of the new series.
Yeah, mine too, to be honest. Now, do you prefer one companion or more than one companion?
Um, I think probably 2 is quite good, just because you can vary the plots a bit more. But clearly 1 is the most sort of successful,
Yeah.
and enduring kind of combination, isn't it? Really, but it'll be interesting to see how it changes next year when we have 2.
Yeah, will be. Right now, what do you do yourself in I'll call it the 2 hiatus, the 1989 to 1996 and 96 to 2005.
Well, 89 to 96, I was still doing stuff for Doctor Who magazine.
Right.
Did more probably towards the end of that period, because that was when I was starting to do my designer interviews. And that period I was changing career direction towards the end of that as well. I gave up my old work in retail management and training, and then went off back to college. And I was in Dimensions in Time in '93.
Really?
And post '96, I was up here in Croydon studying theatre design.
Just
From there
going back,
onwards.
just going back, just a moment there where you let slip something and then carry on. You said you were in Dimensions in Time.
I was
Tell me
briefly.
about
Blink,
that.
can you miss me? Yeah, I'm in there.
What were you?
I was Kiv, Lord Kiv,
Lord Kiv.
from
That,
Mindwarp. Yeah, I bought the
yeah.
original. I bought the original costume at the Big Bonhams auction in '91.
All right.
And that I bought it because I wanted to get something from the auction.
Yeah.
And it made me laugh, really. It kind of made me, because it was quite a funny kind of costume. Not intending to wear it, just literally, I had a suite of, that sort of cane furniture, circular cane furniture with big padded cushions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he sort of sat really nicely in one of my armchairs. But then 2 years later, obviously after the BBC had sold a lot of their costumes at auction, I remember something in Celestial Toy Room, CT, and from JNT asking for anyone who bought any costumes at auction and wanted to take part in something for children in need for the 30th anniversary to write in. And I knew JNT a little bit because I'd done news editing and stuff for CT for a while in the late 80s, and we'd met a few times. And so I wrote in saying, well, I've got Lord Kiv, and then actually not really expecting for anything to happen. And then they wrote back and said, or John wrote back and said, yes, please, and turn up at Elstree Studios on this day, blah, wow. blah, blah. You have to bring your own makeup because the makeup teams will be doing the stars, no photos, no autographs because it's a professional thing, a very tight schedule. But
one hell of an experience.
Sorry?
One hell of an experience.
Oh, it was joyous, really. I mean, it was surreal too, but it was because the Kiv costume you sort of put on as a backwards jacket, you sort of go in like that. And it does up at the back, and the cowl goes on. And a friend of mine, who sadly passed now, was a great sculptor and costume maker and props maker called Andy Hopkinson, had got a copy from an original mould of the frill that went round the cowl when Chris Ryan had played it, to join the head to the face to the cowl over the head. But I wasn't a makeup artist. He wasn't a makeup artist. But it just so happened, because I put the thing on, but I wasn't made up, that one of the makeup artists came out of the porter cabin and said, oh, I did those. So must have worked on Mindwarp, and dragged me into the makeup thing. And so I got a professionally made up by the BBC alongside John Pertwee and Bonnie Langford. So,
wow, I think. I mean, I did over the last sort of, maybe say 6 or 7 years. I've done bits of acting. I've been in a sitcom and my ultimate dream is to appear on Doctor Who. I don't care what as.
Yeah.
I just want to be,
It
even if
wasn't.
I'm background. I
It
want to
wasn't
be.
something I was ever expecting it to do or to happen.
No,
But it
if you
was, but
haven't,
it was great to have been involved in it, you know.
yeah, and if
And
you,
it was because it was a really tight schedule. You know, they were only on Albert Square for 2 days, and artists had very limited. The East Enders people themselves were only coming off set, you know, to do like for half an hour, so they had to quickly do something here. And because of it was done in this 3D way, with this, they had this team from Germany who couldn't speak much English with these cameras, but they weren't cordless, cableless. You know, they had cables, so you had this camera, and it had to keep going round all the time, and there was always something in the foreground, middle ground, and background to make that 3D work. So
okay,
everything had to be set up really quickly, but they were constantly moving. And these poor cable runners who were literally having to crouch backwards, you know, getting the cable out of the way so it didn't trip people up as the cameras zoomed round people as they filmed. So it was quite a technical kind of operation, really,
yeah,
to do it. And of course, most people didn't have a clue what was going on either because of the way that things changed with the scenes, where
yeah.
doctors changed and companions changed. I mean, yeah, poor old Mr. Pertwee didn't have a clue what was going on.
I tell you what though, something. It's just memories, isn't it? That
Oh,
you have for life, and you've been, you know, not lucky because you worked to get to, you know, you knew people involved in the Doctor Who universe, if you like, because you worked for a magazine. But
yeah, but
you
that
have to
didn't get
work.
me any privileges, really. It wasn't
No,
because
but
of
I just
that.
think you have.
It was a bit of luck. It was a bit of luck. The
Yeah, it's very
weirdest
fair enough.
thing,
But you,
that's the weird and still surreal thing to me was having bought Kiv at auction, the costume,
yeah,
then getting to wear it and appear as Lord Giving Dimensions in time. That in 2019, this story comes round again because when I was asked to design Syl and the Devil Seeds of Arador, the spin off that Real Time Keith Barnfather did, and I designed the production of that, I end up getting to work with Christopher Ryan as another version of Lord Kiv, and I get to design his next costume. So
it
you
was
couldn't
meant
make
to
that
be.
up. You couldn't make that up.
No, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. Right. Let's look at your now you and Doctor Who. So Doctor Who to a lot of people. I mean, to me, and I've said this a few times. To me, it gives me. It's a mental health thing just to an extent, because for me it's like 45 minutes when it's on for 8 weeks every year. Every year, so I suppose 45 minutes. I can switch off from everything the world around me, bills, and everything else, and it's just, I can just switch off and focus and go on an adventure with the Doctor. What does Doctor Who mean to you?
I mean, it's been a huge part of my. It means an awful lot. Um, it's brought me friends going back 40 odd years or more. You know, most of my longest standing friends I've met through Doctor Who.
Right.
It's brought me friendships with people connected with the series over the years. I've managed to been able to work with people, interview people, but I've just always loved the show. You know, since I was like 4 or 5. You know, I've never gone through a period where I've never watched it. There have been times when I've kind of not been as engaged. The Capaldi era is not my favourite era at all. Lovely man, don't get me wrong, but it's not my favourite era. But I've never stopped watching it, and I still love it. You know, it's a part of me. It's been a huge part of my life. Not that that was ever a big intention, but it's just become, and it's never gone away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fair enough. Next question: did you ever actually hide behind the sofa?
Now I hid under the sofa.
Hid under the sofa.
I can remember because we had a settee that was, on legs. And I do remember, which is probably one of my oldest memories of the show, is looking out from under the sofa the episode I think must be the end of part 4 of the invasion, of the Cyberman breaking out of its cocoon, because that image is kind of, it's still there in my memory. I do remember, although I don't remember scenes, but I do remember the Moonbase 2 Cybermen, because again, when I was at school, there was a book fair. This was 72, and I saw the making of Doctor Who, the original version with John Pertwee and the Sea Devil on the cover. And I remember opening up to the photo section in the middle, and there was a picture of the Moonbase Cybermen all lined up on the moon. And I can remember, I still get, that chill went down my spine. So there was a memory there of those Cybermen.
So we can actually yes then, can't we? Really? I mean, I'll class under the sofa as
yes. I know. I don't remember hiding behind it, but
no. Under will do. Under will do.
Yeah. Be different,
What is so we got to see a season on now. In fact, I think when this episode comes out, the last episode would have just happened. So at the moment, what happens on a Saturday night for you? For is it a family event? Is it you on your own?
No, it's usually. I mean, I watch it at midnight.
Oh, do you?
I watch it when the episode drops at midnight.
Wow, that's commitment.
Well, I mean, I'm usually up at midnight anyway, so it's not like it's not a great big,
It's a bit different for me. I'm usually asleep by
yeah. No, I'm usually still up around midnight. So I usually what I seem to do now is I'll watch it at midnight. I won't watch Unleashed afterwards in the early hours of the morning. So I'll just go to bed after the episode, and then as long as I'm home, then I'll watch the episode live. But I'll usually put it on with subtitles, because it's so easy to miss bits of dialogue when you're watching it the first time, especially when you're tired. So I usually put it on with subtitles and then watched Unleashed, and then at some point over the next couple of days I'll watch the episode again. That's kind of how I watch it, but I tend to watch it alone. I only share with my housemate, so we sometimes will catch up with that on the Sunday.
You've got lots. You said you got lots of friends through Doctor Who. Now, this is a question encompassing all your family, friends, Who friends, whoever, everybody else that's not you. Are people allowed to call you on the phone on a Saturday evening when Doctor Who is live? Are they allowed?
It's not really. I don't know about not allowed. The conversation has never happened, really. I mean, back in the day, back in the classic times of the classic series, yeah. But then I didn't have a mobile then, so people. It's just like people talking, Back in the classic series, if I was watching it with the family, which often was, certainly in the 70s, I would have been, then it was more about shh, rather than anyone turning up or calling.
I've got that written on my sock.
Yeah.
I'm watching Doctor Who.
But generally I'll turn my phone off, or I'll put it on silent anyway. So I wouldn't, if somebody did ring, I wouldn't answer it.
Yeah, we're going to move on to game time now. Now I've been trying out different games as the episodes have gone on, and I've been trying to get it right, because it seems that I tried one thing and it wasn't quite right. It was taking too long, or it's difficult. People, for the certainly said customers, for the guests to get a grasp on and get through it in a reasonable time. And then I tried something based on the television in the 80s, 70s, 80s called The Price is Right. Do you remember The Price is Right?
I do, yeah. I never watched it very much, but I do recall it, yeah.
Well, this is
You don't
based
remind me of Leslie Crowther, though, I'm
on- Okay, no. Right. I've got I had a look on Doctor for I searched on eBay for Doctor Who items. I searched for sold items because I was corrected by one of my guests that really I shouldn't be looking at buy it now stuff. I should be looking at what people are actually willing to pay. And then it seemed that it was difficult to get close to the price. So instead of doing like, here's the item, what do you think it's worth? I'm going to give you three choices, multiple choice, A, B, and C. I'll give you a point for every single one. Simple as that.
afraid.
How's
Okay.
that sound? So I'm going to describe the first item is Doctor Who. It's a Terence Dick's book called Kinda. Is it Kinda?
Kinder.
Kinder. I don't know why they don't spell it like the Kinder egg. Kinder. And for 1983, a hardback, a used hardback. Now, I don't know how many books you possess, but there's plenty of softback ones, but hardback ones there wasn't.
No, I mean I've got one or two. I've got a friend who's got them all.
Yeah.
But the 80s ones aren't worth as much as the 70s ones.
No.
Some of them will go for hundreds.
Yes, well, this is 1983.
Yeah.
Three prices: A, £12, B, £21, or C, £35.
I'll go B.
B, 21 is correct. There you go. One question, one answer, 1 point. Next one, and this is apparently very rare. The 1966 Doctor Who annual. William Hartnell on the front cover. It's in used condition. The choices are A, £17, B, £4, or C, £22.
A.
A is correct. God blame me. So I've gone from being too difficult to being too easy. You're flying. Right, a Doctor Who, the gold, is it gold Dalek? It's not, it's bronze. 5-inch figure, good condition, not boxed at all, just as is. It was it A, £5, B, £10, or C, 15.
Just a standard bronze
Yeah.
character options Dalek.
Yeah, 5-inch one.
Probably A.
Yep, correct. Again, another correct score. And then next we have Doctor Who. Right. Do you remember we had called Viewmasters? Now, for those who don't know,
I've got them, yeah.
Yeah, so it looked like binoculars, and you had these round discs with like negatives equivalent of little
They're like colour slides.
colour slides. That's the words I'm looking for. In a circle, and you click and you go to the next one, and you look through, and you can see it nice and big.
There are two images, just very slightly taken from slightly different angles, but when they combine, they give you a 3D image.
Yeah,
it's like dimensions in time, but in still form.
Yes. So this is not a Viewmaster itself. This is it's classed as Doctor Who Viewmaster 3D stereo photo set, full circle, 1981. So it's based on the story. There's three of the.
That's right, three of the discs. Yeah.
Was it A, £22, B, 36, or C, 44?
B.
I'm afraid the first one you got wrong. The answer was C, £44.
Yeah.
Next, we got Doctor Who BBC Video postcard album with 10 postcards in it from 1996. A, £5, B, £11, C, 23. pounds.
This is BBC Video.
No, BBC Video. It's BBC Video branded. It's a postcard album with 10 postcards. So it's not a video itself.
Right.
It's just
No, just a postcard album. Yeah. What were the figures again?
A £5, B11, C23.
B.
B is correct. Well done. £11. Doctor Who Airfix kit, and I didn't even know they made these. And for those again, young people who are watching, Airfix is where you stick a load of plastic bits together and you come out with your finger stuck to an airplane, usually.
Or a bit of Martha. This is the Doctor and Martha, isn't it?
This is it's a Daleks in Manhattan set.
Yeah.
And is it A, £46, B, £52, or C, £71?
A.
A is correct. Done it again. This man knows his stuff. Next, Doctor Who 50th anniversary collection on Blu-ray. Was this A, £30, B, £40, or C, £50?
That's the time of the Doctor, Day of the Doctor box set.
Yeah. On Blu-ray.
Probably B.
It's A, £30.
Oh. Well, I think they got quite a good deal there because I think that's generally worth a bit more.
Probably is. But I'm going by this. Doctor Who, 4th Doctor, electronic TARDIS, sealed, made by Underground Toys, 5.5-inch.
Yeah.
Sealed, still sealed. Is it A, £100, B, £170, or C, £200?
B.
B is correct. Again, another one. No one's going to beat you. You do know this, don't you? Even if you've still got 5 questions to go.
I think the issue is I probably spend far too much time on eBay.
Next, Doctor Who DVD from 1966, not a DVD from 1966, you know what I mean? It's the Gunfighter story on DVD. Is it A, £5, B, £7, or C, £10?
A.
A is correct. It keeps going. He keeps going. Next, now this is something. If you get this one right, I'm just going to go. I'm going to go out and just leave you to it. Doctor Who in French, Le Daleks. That's what it's called. Doctor Who Le Daleks. That's Doctor Who and the Daleks in French. 1987, first edition paperback, and it says Docteur Gerardno. I'm not even going to translate it because you're too good at this.
I think I did French at A level, so I think I can understand.
Was it A, £2, B, £7, or C, £12?
Go for B.
It's C, £12.
12.
Yes. Next one. A Doctor Who.
How many of these are there?
Pardon?
How many of these are there?
There's 3. There's 15 altogether.
Right.
You're on number 11 now. Doctor Who Master and TCE and Computer Bank TARDIS.
Oh right, yeah.
Character 5.5-inch figures. Is it A, £31, B, £52, or C, £70?
Sorry, the cat's just come in and meowing quite loudly. Can you repeat those?
Was it A, £31, B, £52, or C, £70?
Meow. B.
B is correct. £52. Right. A Doctor Who original artwork. This is the 20 centimetres by 20 centimetres. It's the original artwork for Inferno. The book cover. And is it A, £124, B, £169, or C, £199?
Can you just repeat what it actually was? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's a piece of artwork, 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters. It's the original artwork drawn for the book cover Inferno.
Yeah.
So it's done by the original artist. It's a one-off, and the prices are A, £124, B, £169, or C, £199.
I'd say 199.
It's £169,
Oh,
and I think probably a bargain, like you had said before.
yeah.
Near the end now, John Pertwee Fan Club magazine, number 5. It's the Doctor Who fanzine, A4, 1979, in very good condition. You probably wrote for it. You're going to tell me.
No, I didn't know.
Is it A, £6, B, £10, or C, £55? See how I threw that curveball in there?
Yeah.
Confusion. B, did you say? No,
yeah.
It's C, A. And 2 more. Right, this one might get you. A Lego Cyberman minifigure from Doctor Who Dimensions. Now, these minifigures, my son's collected them in the past. They can sometimes be worth a lot of money. What would one, not boxed, on its own, Lego Cyberman, A, £4, B, 15, or C, 9?
A.
It's 9, C. You're close though. Last one. A real police box sign. This is not officially Doctor Who, but it's a real police box sign. I don't have TARDIS collectors, I'm sure. A, £103, 2, £203, or sorry, A, 103, B, 203, or C, 303.
B.
It's A, 103. You're going to jump on eBay and buy it now.
No, I'm not.
Because obviously you've done really well there. So you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You had a bit of a dip with the last 4 questions.
Yeah.
You've got 8 out of 15. It's not bad at all.
Not bad. I'll blame it on the cat. I'll blame it on the cat. My attention distracted.
That disturbed you for, and that like those last 4. But listen, Phil, it's been amazing talking to you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been great talking to you.
Looking forward to this episode, and I'd just like to thank you for spending the time coming on. Wish you all the best in doing all your design work.
Thank you.
And fingers crossed here that if I cross my fingers, I would. But maybe one day your artwork, design work, will be shown on Doctor Who, and you can message me and say, "Look at that, that's me."
Well, I've got no ambition to work on the actual show now, really.
Hey, it's Disney running now.
Yeah, it's a huge machine now, I think.
If you get a job,
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
You never know. You get a job to design an alien, you might get £500,000. Who knows?
I wouldn't say no.
I'm going to say that's probably not right. Anyway, listen, thank you so much. And what people don't know is that we got halfway through this show before and realised they hadn't recorded. People, I hope you haven't. I'm sure people haven't realised. It's been great talking to you, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again in the future.
Yeah, sure. Lovely talk to you as well. Cheers, Phil. Thanks.
Bye, Phil. Bye.
Bye.